So I've just come back from my weekly routine of going to a coffee shop and applying to jobs on LinkedIn. And I've been keeping track of like which companies and positions I've been applying to. And so I checked today like how many jobs I've applied to, and it comes out to like 450 jobs. And I started tracking this like around April. So the sheet says 390, and before April, I applied to maybe like 50 or 100. So let's just say 450, right? And I don't really have much to say about it, but it's like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of jobs. Um, it's been a weird process since graduating. I graduated early in December and officially in January, but it's just been a really weird process. It's been like 8 months, and my life, at least like circumstantially, externally, hasn't really changed so much. I've changed a lot as a person since then, and I've grown for sure. I've learned a lot of things about myself and about what I want. But like externally, nothing has really changed. And I guess I'm making this video just to talk about it, not necessarily to find fault or blame or in anything, but I don't know. I just find it interesting. Like, I've been in this process for so long, and I've been through a couple interviews. Out of 450 jobs, I've probably had less than 10 of them get back to me with an interview. And of course, so far, none of those have gone through. And like I said, I'm not really upset about it, but it's just such a weird thing to think about. Like, I remember I didn't even really want to go to school, to college in the first place, but what had happened was, in high school, I wanted to play basketball in college, and that didn't work out. And I didn't really see like a reason why everyone was so excited to go to school, because they only wanted to go for like they weren't passionate about anything that school could teach them. And so I was very like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And yes, that's a little immature looking back, but also I see some truth in that. There was no reason for me to go to school. Like, there was no thing that I wanted to study. Eventually, I ended up going, right? And didn't know what I wanted to study. And I settled on like IT after a year or two because I thought it was applicable to many careers, and like it was an easy, like only 40 credit major, so that's what I chose. And after I chose it, I kind of like just cruised. I didn't really focus on it very hard. I just tried to get good grades, and I didn't have a passion for IT, and I still don't. And I don't know, like, I kind of had this expectation that the degree alone would get me into a job, which of course is wrong, because look at where I am now. But the weird thing is, like, throughout my time at school, I never really wanted a real job. I kind of wanted to do my own thing, whatever that was. Still don't know what it is. But what had happened was, as I was going to be graduating from school, this wasn't happening. And so I started like realizing that I'd have to get a job, and oh, what a horror it would be to get a job, right? So, but the thing is, like, I was assuming I would get one. So I graduated and I started applying slowly because I thought, it wouldn't be so hard. I have a degree, whatever. People want IT people, as if I have any IT skills, because guess what? I didn't really learn much from school. Just have the piece of paper to prove it, but to prove that I've learned nothing. So first couple months, I was kind of expecting it to be easier, like I would get a job eventually, but I wasn't. And then, it got to this point where I was doing additional studying on my own, like more IT study, more programming study, stuff that I don't really love, but thought that I could learn to help me. Wasn't helping either. Still wasn't getting accepted anywhere. No interviews really. I started ramping up the amount that I was applying in like April. I started like before then it was like sporadic. I'd go on LinkedIn and I'd apply to jobs. And then in April, I would go to a coffee shop every weekend and I'd apply to like 20 to 40 jobs every weekend. So 150 a month ish, maybe a little less sometimes a little more. And it was at this point where like it was getting frustrating because I still at home and I didn't even really want a real job, but I wasn't, and I've spent all this time in school, working to get a real job. And I was like, at least if I'm going to be doing all this, I should be getting a job. But I wasn't. And I was putting in a lot of effort to do something that I didn't really want. And it wasn't working. So it was getting frustrating. Like, March, April, May, very frustrating. Eventually I did get a few interviews for companies that I actually thought were somewhat interesting. Like, I'd say out of all the jobs that I've applied to, maybe like 5% have been jobs that I've actually been like, okay, I can do this. I would like to do this. It's an interesting company, good benefits. Like maybe 5% max of the companies that I've applied to have been like, I've been comfortable with the idea of working there. Haven't worked out still. So it's been a weird roller coaster ride. And like now I'm at the point where it's not even really a problem. Like, yes, I'd like to move on. It's been so long and I have changed. I've grown as a person since this whole thing started. But I'm still at home, still living with family, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm kind of ready for a change. And what more can I really say? Not that it really bothers me. Like I've grown more comfortable with myself, and I feel less like I don't feel as obligated to try and please a company and like pretend to be something that I'm not. And I don't feel as obligated or as dependent on a job to feel like I can be independent internally. Even, all that being said, it's like I'm just kind of curious, like what's gonna happen. I don't know. I thought I would get a job with a degree. Nope. I have no real segmented interests that like you can get a job for. So it's not like I have something that I'm pursuing specifically. Like I'm trying different things and I'm trying to figure it out, but otherwise it's just like I've been here day by day and going through a process, and a lot of stuff has happened like internally, but externally it's all been the same, which is really weird because I was always wondering to myself, like as school was approaching its end, like what is my life going to look like in a year from now? Am I going to have a job that I hate? Like, am I going to find something super special that I love that's not a job? And like a year later, and I'm just sitting here in my room still. So yeah, I don't really have anything much else to say. Like I said, it's not really a rant. This is more of like a, that's interesting. And I've thought about it a lot recently because it's interesting. Like nothing has changed really, and it's just weird. I am super grateful for it though, because like internally it's been a lot of ups and downs, but that settles and I grow and I understand like, okay, I am who I am and I don't need any of these external things for a dependence of my self-worth. I can be around, like I want to be on my own and living somewhere on my own, and I'm still with family, and that's a little bit annoying, but that's fine. Like that kind of stuff. A lot has happened besides like looking for a job these past 8 months that has affected me for sure. But all of it has come together and created this experience. And right now I'm still working through it. I'm still learning new things and I'm still growing from this process, but it's the overall sense is like, what's next? What's going to happen? Yeah. That's about it. So the process remains the same, really. Gonna continue applying for now. Gonna keep making these videos. Gonna keep doing everything else that I'm doing. And yeah, what can I say? I know it's generally a hard job market right now for a lot of people. I understand that. Uh, for me, it's a little different because I don't have a specific job that I'm going for, but I know all these factors contribute, and that's just how it is. So I'm curious to see what's next. I'm wondering if any of you guys have a similar experience. Yeah, thanks for watching.